Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Cookiecast. Today on Cookiecast, it's the Darkest Timeline podcast. There'll be games, there'll be movies, there'll be gym, and I'm sure some other stuff that's happened in the last week. So here we go, this is Cookiecast, the Darkest Timeline podcast.
I should make some kind of theme tune out of the noises I make when I sit down. Oh, message from Paul Williams. So, hi, it's Cookiecast. It's the Darkest Timeline podcast. It's me, Cookie. No guests today, but I will come to that. Sorry, drink time. Oh dear. Oh my word, that podcast, that microphone is nowhere near the way it should be pointing. Oh, is that better? Yeah. We'll soon find out, I'm sure. And by soon, I mean in a month's time when I actually code this one. Anyway, let's stop messing around. Summer's back. I'm pretty sure last week I was saying that winter had arrived. Summer is back. It's a beautiful evening. It's a beautiful day. Went out for a walk today. Which was nice. Got a couple of jobs done while I was out. Went and bought deodorant. Rock and roll lifestyle I lead, and went to the gym to get my fob thing so I can use the facilities. Got a lot to talk about today. This is a full page of stuff. If I'm honest, it's probably going to be classed as a special episode because it's very much centered around one subject. At this point in time, I'll say if you're not into computer games, this might not be the one for you. I'm not just talking computer games. Like I said, I've got a lot, but a big chunk of today is computer game based. Let's crack on because, like I said, there's a lot. As by now you know, I've been doing the diet. I've been doing low carbs. Went to see my sister. She was also doing the low carb thing, which is cool. Low carb diet. It's good for losing weight. She has lost a considerable amount of weight, certainly a lot more than I have. So my brother-in-law, he was looking really well. Super jacked as well. I think he said he was doing a crazy workout routine, which is definitely working, let's put it that way. Might have to get some tips on that one. So been doing the diet, low carbs. Got to a point yet again where I didn't lose any weight. I was like, man, it's probably time for a cheat meal. But ended up being a bit of not a cheat weekend, but it was a bit laxer, let's say. Had a cheat meal on the Friday, had the weekend of, I switched my coffee order to Americano so that there was no milk, but when I had a coffee that weekend, I had a latte. That sort of thing. Might have had a couple of bits and pieces there. I'm not talking like I didn't eat an entire chocolate cake, sort of like. I just mean a few more carbs than the diet would allow. On the Monday, it was like, right, back on the diet. We've had the weekend. We've had a bit of I was feeling a bit down on this diet. So last Monday, stepped on the scales and had lost 2 pounds. Absolutely no freaking idea how that happened. Like I say, cheat meal, which is just nothing but carbs, and a loose weekend resulted in a loss of 2 pounds. Utter madness. Couldn't understand it. And then the next day, weighed myself again just to see whether there'd been some kind of weird adjustment. Lost another pound. So I think it's this thing where with any diet you need a kickstart to your metabolism. So my body had obviously got a bit sort of used to what I was doing, and the weight loss had stopped. So eating some carbs had obviously kicked it back off, and quite well. Last week, I think it averaged out that I lost a pound a day. Then one day right at the back end of the week, put 2 pounds on randomly. And then the next day had lost them again. Not sure on that one. I'm about to cross a stone barrier. I've lost more than a stone at this point. But I'm about to cross into I'm like dropped below 0 into a new stone, which is cool. If I'm honest, it's a lot slower than I'd have liked. If it had been a steady pound a day, I could have dealt with that quite easily, but it's not. It's very up and down, and this diet just seemed to stop dead. Like, you'll be absolutely on it, crushing it, hitting the gym, doing the diet, and then you're not losing weight, which is very demoralising, and makes it easy to fall off the wagon, unfortunately. But knowing that helps. So had my cheat meal yesterday, back on the diet today, and we'll just keep at it for now. So yeah, that is losing 2 pounds. So something that I was going to talk about was just feel like I've got no time at the moment. Like, I feel like I'm in some kind of whirlwind, which is also a time vacuum. Last week, I was just beside myself with the lack of time, which is something which ties into something I'll come on to in a bit. But it was like, I suppose just one of those points in time where I had a million jobs to do, a million things that needed doing, and there's only so many hours in the day. And it got to the point where I couldn't sleep. I'd go to bed, wouldn't be able to sleep, stay up later the next day, still wouldn't be able to sleep, stay up later the next day, still wasn't able to sleep. By the end of the week, I was dead. Super, super dead. I was just like, man, if I don't sleep soon, something bad's going to happen. And luckily, I think yesterday, I managed to get some sleep. I had a decent amount of sleep and sort of recovered. Having said that, I've got a cup of coffee sitting here right now, and I have had an energy drink today. So take from that, you know. But yeah, just this distinct lack of time. It was a busy week. I had 4 podcasts to record. 3 of those needed coding and uploading before the end of the week. Some of them were like, they had like a day's turnaround, which isn't easy at the best of times, let alone the days the way they are now. Piles and piles and piles of washing, just chasing washing around the house. Washing up, a never-ending pile of washing up. I know that everybody has this, and I know that everybody deals with this, but that also means that everybody knows those times when it's just like, how is there this much washing? How is there this much washing up to do? How is there this many jobs? You know, you got to do recycling. You got to, like, both the front and the back garden needed absolutely gutting, but you can only fit so much in the green bin sort of jobs. Destroyed the bush at the front of the house Saturday or Sunday or something. Just trimmed it right back. I'd done the holly bush the week before. Back garden, stuff like that. It's just, right, which of the 9,000 things I've got to do am I going to do next sort of days? But yeah, just, it's amazing what that knock-on effect is. It seemed to trigger some kind of, I couldn't sleep. It was whether my mind couldn't switch off because I was just constantly thinking about how much I had to do or what, I don't know, but really got into this just could not sleep situation. I'm kind of hoping it's rectified itself. I'm tired now, and I'm hoping a session at the gym and a reasonable sort of, not early night, but a reasonable night and get a good sleep might keep me on track. But yeah, the weird thing is, I go to the gym, and obviously I go to the gym late, and I don't know if it's like the adrenaline or endorphins or what, but I think that might have something to do with it. The gym's getting busy at the time I go, which is weird. I've had months and months and months of just, you go at 11 o'clock at night and there's nobody there, surprisingly. But now I go at 11 o'clock at night and there's people there, and it's the same people every day. So it's a bit like, okay, well, I don't think I can go much later. But whatever, you know, everybody has the right to use the gym. Right. Hey, here's a fun one for you. Remember the ongoing saga with the tooth or teeth, or like going to the dentist, emergency dentist appointment, all of that. Can you guess who I rang this morning, and can you guess where I'm going tomorrow? Didn't quite need an emergency dentist appointment, but do need to go and see the dentist again. Can you guess why? No? Well, let me tell you. I've had a filling disappear out of my mouth. It was there in the morning. Partway through the morning, I was like, why does this tooth taste funny? What's going on with this area here? Why it tastes like the dentist. It tastes a bit sweet. It tastes weird. I think I need to go and brush my teeth. Brush. Obviously, when you spit, when you're brushing your teeth, it's not like anything pinged out into the sink or anything. Brush. Does that make it feel better? No, because now I've got a big hole in my tooth where it used to be, like, it used to have like a lump over it where there was a filling, I'm guessing. So yeah, phoned them this morning. They're nearly as funny as the doctor. Oh, is there any particular day you want to come? Fridays are best for me. Okay, yeah, you're not getting a Friday anytime soon. Okay, Thursday? Yeah, I can do you in a month on a Thursday. I'm like, just whenever. Just give me an appointment. I've had a cancellation for tomorrow. Let's go with that, shall we? Obviously, I'm going to go and with the mindset of, can you just replace this missing filling? And I'm sure they're going to try and take at least a tooth out, if not multiple teeth out, leaving me toothless. But yeah, we'll see how that one goes. At the moment, I might as well have my wages paid directly to the dentist. Obviously, for what gets done and stuff, it's not a massive amount of money. It's still an amount of money, and if I'm there every couple of weeks at this point in time, I don't know, Should I be getting some kind of discount? I mean, irony being that as far as I'm concerned, all of these problems that I've had were caused by the dentist doing unnecessary work. So, at this point in time, I've lost a tooth because a dentist put a filling in that wasn't needed. And I'm having all of these problems with all the teeth on the other side of my mouth because the dentist did a bad filling. So, yeah. So, you know what I was saying about guests? I think I mentioned this previously. The Darkest Timeline podcast doesn't have guests as it stands at the moment. I did a podcast with Donna a few weeks back and just made that a special episode. As it was, that episode went down real well. I'm seriously considering speaking to Donna about doing a little bit more regular thing. Her podcast go over really well. It had massive views, massive number of listens, like within 9 hours of it being released, the numbers were way up. So I'm like, maybe I should see about making that a bit more of a permanent deal. The Darkest Timeline doesn't have guests, and I didn't know if that should change. I sort of wanted to get a bit more rooted in doing this one. I seem to think by this point this will be episode I think it's 18 or something, which is cool. Obviously that's more than half of the podcasts that have been and gone. Certain podcasts that started out really well and then just fell by the wayside, or ones that didn't have time or stuff like that. 18 podcasts is a number that's 2 or 3 times some of those other podcasts. At this point in time, the Cookiecast brand, the number of podcasts, it's a lot. Oh no, a couple of people have sort of said that they physically cannot keep up with the release schedule. So obviously me decided to release more podcasts on a weekly basis. Go figure. But I do have a small issue that I want to address, and then he is more than welcome to come on and fight his corner on this one. A little while ago, anybody who's a fan of the podcast, anybody who's listened to all the back issues, or however you want to call it, back episodes, a little while ago, I did a podcast with Paul and James. It was a bullshit cast, and we were talking about scalping tickets. Little did they know that that day was the day before I had intended to drive to Manchester to try and scalp a ticket to go and see Bert Kreischer live. So we did that podcast the day before. I fully intended to jump in the car the next day, drive to Manchester and try and get a ticket. And I was a bit like, I'm prepared to pay to see Bert Kreischer, and I'm probably prepared to pay quite a bit because I imagine these guys charge quite a lot. I was also prepared to spend the money on the petrol on the off chance of buying a ticket there. So that's the next day we do the podcast. They're like, especially Paul, are like, oh man, you know, people who scalp tickets, they're the worst, they're low life, sort of lowest form of life and all this. And I was like, yeah, they are, yeah. Then I was like, I sold a ticket that I had to one of these guys, because I had 2 tickets, I had no one to go with. Hi, Mike, Harriet and Sky. I thought I had no one to go with. Didn't need the second ticket, so I sold it there and then. Got the equivalent of no money for it. and that was sort of that. That seemed to be okay as far as Paul and James are concerned, but you know, buying tickets and selling them and charging more for them, and I agreed. I did agree at that point in time, but I've seen the way the process works, and it's a lot to do with, you know, that exact situation. I had an extra ticket. I didn't need it. They bought it, and then they were going to try and sell it on, presumably for, well, I mean, the face value of those tickets was probably 30 quid. So they'll have probably tried to sell it for, what, 40, 50 quid? So 10 times what they paid for it, essentially. I get the principle, it's not great. Because of doing that podcast, I decided to not go to Manchester the next day. I was like, yeah, you know, it's not great, and, you know, it stopped somebody else being able to go, and, you never know, I might get there and not be able to get a ticket, and all of that, and sort of convinced myself it was not the right move, and that conversation had swayed my opinion, decision, whatever. Since that point in time, I've watched both of Bert Kreischer's specials on Netflix multiple times since then. I've listened to multiple podcasts. Your Mum's House, he's done a couple of those, which were just hilarious. Obviously, him and Tom Segura have got their new podcast, Two Bears, One Cave. I've listened to 2 or 3 of those episodes. Fantastic. And at this point in time, I can safely say one of the single biggest regrets I have is not going to try and get a ticket to go and see Bert Kreischer when he was here. And I'm just like, when is he going to... Because he keeps advertising that he's doing all of these tour dates. In America, he's doing like the second leg of this world tour that he's doing. And I'm like, all I can think is, you tour, then you do your special, then it's a year, 2 years before you're ready to tour again. It's probably going to be 3 years before he's going to come back here. I might be dead by then. You never know. You know, that could be a thing. It's a massive regret that I've got that I didn't go. And I know you could be saying right now, well, why were you influenced if it was that big a deal? It's become a bigger deal since. I'd just seen the specials at that point in time and listened to bits here and there and bits on YouTube and stuff. And I was like, this guy is hands down a fantastic comedian. His 2 specials, The Machine and Secret Time, are 2 of my favourite. They're like that instant favourite. I would watch them any minute of any day given the chance, and the more I listen, the more podcasts I listen to, the more I see, it grinds on me that I didn't go. So I'll probably end up telling Paul tomorrow about this beef that I've got with him, and I might see if he wants to come on and fight his corner. So, you know, watch this space. Okay, boys and girls, I believe that is all the bump for today's podcast. Let's talk movies. I think I might have got the name of a movie wrong last time. I think I might have told a couple of people that I was watching a film and it wasn't even called that. It's only a slight difference, but it is a difference. I think I kept saying that film was called Mother on Netflix original. It's actually called I Am Mother. It's on Netflix. I watched it. I finished it. I've started another film the last couple of days that I've been watching in the gym. I'll probably just cover that next week. But I did watch and finish I Am Mother. It's the only film I have watched this week, I believe. I do this every time because obviously now that the NFL season's back, any free time that I have from Tuesday onwards is I didn't watch that game, I'll watch that game. Was there something special that happened that wasn't shown on Red Zone, I'll watch that game. So free time is generally taken up with watching American football. I don't think I've watched any other films this week. So, I Am Mother. Can't remember what I said last time. I probably said that I'd started it. It seemed interesting. At the end of the day, I'm watching stuff that looks interesting, stuff I want to see. Something that struck me about that film was, and I seem to have this a lot recently, it felt very familiar. It felt like it was a story I'd seen before, whilst knowing that that wasn't the case. It's not a film I've seen before. It just felt very familiar, to the point that you knew it was building to a twist. It's a piggy in the middle situation. You've got one person on one side saying one version of a story, one person on the other side saying another version of a story, and ultimately, for want of a better way, they're both lying. But they're lying for the right reasons, not the wrong reasons. I don't know if I gave a rundown last time, and I don't want to spoil anything. The apocalypse has happened. The world is uninhabitable. Humans build a facility to repopulate the earth after Armageddon. There is a robot called Mother, and she brings into this base, or whatever you want to call it, this living habitat thing, a child, and it's a girl, which starts as a baby, turns into a toddler, little girl, and you sort of, the bulk of the story happens when she's probably 16, 17, 18 sort of age. And then somebody comes from the outside into the thing and tells a different version of the story that the robot's been telling the child. It wasn't Armageddon, it was something else. People are alive. X, Y, Z. I don't want to spoil it, watch the trailer, watch it. By the end, what I can say is, although it felt really familiar and they were going, there's a twist coming, there's a twist coming, and then the twist came, it's like, I freaking knew that from the start. I tried to explain that to Leanne, and she told me that that's just something that I do. When I know there's a twist coming, I spend my time trying to work out what the twist is, and often work it out quite early on, because I don't know whether it's an attempt to ruin it or to work it out or what. I felt it was quite obvious. But because I watch these films in sections, it's like, maybe 10 minutes here, maybe 10 minutes one day, maybe half an hour the next day, maybe 40 minutes the next day. A 2-hour film can take me a few days to get through. I kind of got over the fact that I knew what the twist was, which allowed me to go back and watch the rest of it and actually enjoy it. So what I found was, even though there was a point where I was like, well, I know what the twist ending's going to be. It wasn't even a twist ending, it was just, towards the back end. I managed to quite enjoy it by the end. It's a film I definitely recommend. And it's called I Am Mother. It's a Netflix original. The woman in it, again, another one of those where you look at it and you go, that has 2 actresses in. That's it. It's got 2 actresses in, and presumably somebody that voices the robot. And that's it. They play videos of old TV shows, but presumably they just play videos of old TV shows. So it had like 2-3 people in it. Very good. Well, it was good. It was enjoyable. I would certainly recommend anybody watch that film. Maybe you won't work out what the twist is. maybe you'll just enjoy it for what it is. But I enjoyed it by the end. So yeah, that is my movie this week and my movie recommendation for the week. I had this thing. I went to buy a new TV. I should have probably spoken about that. I went to buy a new TV. TV downstairs broke. Definitely wasn't a child-related accident. Definitely didn't kill the TV. Definitely didn't cause the need for a new TV. Short version is I went and got a new TV. Along with something else. I had a nightmare. It was like a saga. I relayed it to Harriet and Mike yesterday. They came for the football. And I relayed it, and it was a saga. It was like, do you remember when I went and bought a car? Yeah, buying a TV was very similar. And I went through it, and it must have taken about 20 minutes to get through this story. Short version is, don't always believe what you read online. You know, if a company says, we've got this TV, and you go, well, I want that one, but it's too expensive, so I best get that one. And then you go to the shop and you go, well, this one wasn't even on the website, and that's perfect. Saved a lot of money yesterday. New TV though, so you know, expensive. Got a new TV. Rather than going through the saga and boring you with that aspect, that is basically the long and short of it. New TV. Don't even know how I got to that bit. So, knew that we needed a new TV. Which sparked a conversation about, oh, you know, maybe we'll just get the TV, and if we're buying a TV, maybe it's time to sort of get something that would have been for Christmas. Might as well get it now, then it's done, then we can focus on children's stuff at Christmas rather than, you know, I want this, she wants that sort of stuff. So I've been quite taken with the Oculus Quest. So this is the game section, by the way. If you don't know, Oculus is VR, virtual reality. I don't know how much I need to boil this down. Anybody that's still listening at this point in time, probably not that much. Oculus is a company that was made or is owned by Facebook. I didn't actually know that. I just took it as they were the Oculus people. Turned out they were actually the Facebook people. Whatever. There was the Rift, which was, you know, you plug a headset into a computer, you've got hand things, you play games. Rift S, which was a version that came later, which I don't know what the jump was there. Was it something to do with the hands? Or just better quality? And then there was the Oculus Go, which was an attempt at making a wireless version, but the quality wasn't great as far as I'm aware. Then I see a trailer, an advert. I don't know why I keep calling it a trailer. An advert for the Oculus Quest. And what struck me as being the most interesting thing about this was you didn't need a computer. Now, I've got a computer. I've got a couple of computers. I have a very powerful computer doing podcasting, video editing, audio editing and stuff like that. It uses quite a lot of power, like computer power. Doesn't require certain things. One of those things is a graphics card. Doesn't need it. So I never got it when I got the computer. So I've got a super powerful computer but no graphics card. To make my computer be able to do VR, I would need a graphics card. Minimum price, you're looking about £650. The Oculus to go with it would have been about £1,000. It was creeping towards £2,000 to be able to play VR. I played VR at Ed's house, and I could say, hands down, the best gaming experience I had had. It was fully immersive. The game that I played was a game called Robo Recall. I think it's Robo Recall Unplugged, which is essentially a robot shooting game. You shoot robots, you can pull them apart, you get various different guns, you pull guns from, like, as if you've got them holstered, but you can also pull guns from over your shoulders, like as if you've got a shotgun strapped to your back sort of thing. Super cool, loads of fun, and I was blown away by this game. Also played a game called Beat Saber, which is you have a red lightsaber in your left hand and a blue lightsaber in your right hand. Music plays, you smash blocks with the corresponding colour, and it makes part of the music. So it's like a bit like Guitar Hero. It's like a dance sort of game. You make music by smashing the blocks, and it's like a high score sort of thing. I played both of those and was blown away, and it was like, this is the next step for gaming. Being a big game fan, it struck a chord with me, but the money aspect was a big issue. So, fast forward a few months, I explored every option. I looked at the PlayStation VR. Reviews were not great for that. I looked at ways to do the Oculus cheaper. It wasn't possible. It was going to cost a lot of money to do it. Required a lot of space. Everything that I didn't have. So I kind of had to let that go and just work on the principle that I'd maybe be able to play Eds every now and then. Fast forward a few months and I see an advert for something called the Oculus Quest. Still made by the company Oculus, or Facebook if you want. But its big selling point was it required no computer and it required no cameras. It was a fully enclosed VR system. You had the headset, you had the hands, the controllers, one in each hand, and that was it. Nothing else. It actually works off an app, but that is literally you buy stuff on the app and you download it to the unit. No wires involved apart from a charging cable. The hand bits take batteries, all this. I'm like, well, what is this? Immediately, I'm like, well, that's going to cost an absolute fortune. I wonder what they want for that, £2,000 or something. Next day, I went to Ed. Ed, talk to me about the Quest. He was like, oh man, yeah, definitely. Completely standalone unit. You don't need a computer, you don't need the camera, you don't need nothing. Speak to, and he told me to speak to one of our bosses. He's like, he's got one. And he was like, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that it's actually a lot cheaper as well. And I was like, can't be that. It cannot be true. He's like, don't quote me on it, but I think it's a lot cheaper. Went and spoke to like our head of, and he's got one. And he's like, oh man, it's great. You know, I'm gonna bring it in. Gonna go into one of our big meeting rooms and we'll have a go. I'm like, cool. That sounds real good. Again, fast forward a couple of weeks, few weeks maybe. I keep seeing the adverts, keep watching bits and pieces on the internet, really sort of getting an idea for this thing. I watched a tech video for it. This piece of equipment is a technological marvel. The way it works is awesome. It blew me away how much technology it's got in it to make it work. I'm like, man, this piece of kit is really, really good. I ended up having to go to work on a Friday, which I never do. I was supposed to be working from home, didn't have the stuff I needed to work from home, so I had to go in. It was overtime, so I had to go to work. Went into work, and at that point, our head of's like, I brought the Quest in, and you're here. So at lunchtime, we're going to go into the big meeting room, and we're going to play. And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. So we went in the big meeting room. He was like, I've got Star Wars, let's play Star Wars. I'm like, cool. So we did like lightsaber training, and like look, you know, me and Ed were like looking at the leather texture on the gloves, on the hands, and it's like, wow, you can really see the texture. our head off was like, oh, I'm going to put the story on, play the story missions. And I was just blown away. This Star Wars game, the detail in it, you can see like the frost on the glass of the spaceship when you're out in space, the way that you control things, like putting the ship into hyperdrive and stuff, lightsaber fighting and stuff like that, just blown away. At that point in time, I found out the price, and again, I was like, this can't be a thing. One of those things, I'm not going to say the price. If you're interested, a quick Google or a quick Amazon or a quick, wherever Oculus is sold, you'll get an idea. There's two sizes. If I'm honest, conversations I've had with everybody is there's no need to get the bigger size. There's a 64 gig and a 128. But because it works on the principle that you can just take games on and off quite easily, there's not a real reason for the bigger one. And the bigger one is £100 more expensive. So you're kind of paying £100 for convenience for something that's not that much of an inconvenience. I haven't had to take anything off yet. I've put quite a bit on it and I haven't had to take anything off. I don't know how easy or difficult that's going to be. I think you need to have a Wi-Fi connection to do that side of it, but I don't know if you need a Wi-Fi connection to play. I might have to look into that. Because obviously it's supposed to be, the biggest thing is it's designed around taking VR with you to places to play with people, friends, family, whatever, and they can experience VR. I think it's basically designed to sort of get more people into it. The thing about VR gaming is it's not hugely accessible until now. This is around about the point I'm like, that's money that I'd be prepared to pay because I think it's cool. It is the next step for gaming. I was blown away by it. Had the conversation with Lan where I was like, look, I've been fighting it all this time, but I think it might be time to get into the Oculus. There's the Quest. I went through it with her, this, that and the other. Her response basically worked on the principle of, obviously that's not something that we can afford, but, let's keep it in mind for Christmas. I'm like, yeah, that's fair. Jump forward another few weeks, having a conversation with the boy Luke, and I'm like, man, you got to get in on that Oculus action. It is freaking sweet. And he was like, yeah, but I've got a big holiday coming up. I can't be spending that sort of money. I was like, you really should. They were sold out all over the place, left, right and centre. And then all of a sudden, Amazon had some. And I'm like, mate, if you're in a position to buy one, do it, because you won't regret it. It is definitely, it's where the action is. Next thing, Luke's like, I've done it. It's on. It's ordered. It's going to come tomorrow or the day after or something. I was like, sweet. Let me know how you get on. Been talking to him about it. He's got some games, and that was that. So, jump to last week. Decided we needed a new TV. The way that you get a TV at this point in time is you go, right, you have to resign yourself to spending the money to get the TV. So Leon's like, look, let's get the TV and we might as well get the Oculus. We'll get them together, then it's done, Christmas is sorted, and we'll share both items and it can be like our Christmas presents to each other. We'll have it now sort of thing. I'm like, what, really? She's like, no, don't be stupid. It's like, oh, okay. I was like, but you did kind of say, and if you didn't mean it, you probably shouldn't have said it, because now I'm kind of like, we should do that. Little bit of backwards and forwards. I knew she was joking, but at the same time I was like, oh man, that's a bit of a cruel joke. until a point where I was like, get it. It can be the Christmas present. And she was like, yeah, I've already ordered it. So that came the next day. I was out the next day. So Christmas came early, well and truly. So we've got the Oculus Quest. So let's run through the games. Absolute number one, no and ifs or buts, had to buy, was Robo Recall Unplugged, I think it's called. Had to get it, no questions asked. The Star Wars thing was fun. It's an episodic thing. There's only one episode at the moment, and it was £8 for that. I was like, that's a no-brainer. Luke recommended a game called Super Hot. Sounded interesting. I'll go through each of these. Then there's a load of demos. Downloaded anything that was free, even like a web browser because it was free. Poker because it was free. I played some poker last night. It was actually quite interesting. Downloaded loads of demos. Played a load of demos. Let's start. Robo Recall, super fun. It's only 9 levels, and I have finished it, but I haven't because the object is it's a game designed for you to play multiple times, and some of the challenge, like each level has a series of challenges for you to try and do whilst you're playing it, like throw 10 robots off the roof, stuff like that. So I'm now trying to do the challenges. This is a game I will keep coming back to and do regularly. I've played it loads over the last few days. Can't stop playing it at points in time. I'm like, oh, just have another go on that mission and see if I can do that challenge. So much fun. Super fun. Again, if you want to know what it is, YouTube a video for Robo Recall Unplugged and tell me if you are a gamer that doesn't look like so much fun. And believe me, it is. Something that takes a bit of getting used to is most VR games have a teleport feature. You point where you want to go and you turn a stick for which direction you want to go, and then you release to teleport there. First hour, couple of hours of trying to get used to it can be quite difficult. After that, it becomes almost a bit like second nature. You realise that you can't run around places and you have to sort of jump places, teleport places. The guns are loads of fun. I've got like a real sweet, real tight setup. I've got a real cool setup for my guns for it. Pistol on one side, revolver on one side, shotgun on one side of the back, a blaster thing on the other. The more stars you get, the more challenges you complete, the more upgrades you get for the guns. I have nearly fully upgraded the pistol. I've got like 2 or 3 upgrades for the revolver, 2 or 3 upgrades for the shotgun, a couple of upgrades for the blaster. We'll keep plugging away at that game. If somebody said to me, you can have a VR headset, but you're only allowed one game, and that one game is Robo Recall, I'd have been happy. I'd have been like, sold. As it was, that wasn't the case. So we had a list of games that we were going to get straight off the bat. Robo Recall, Star Wars. Now the Star Wars game is called Star Wars Vader Immortal Episode 1. We were going to get that, no worries. And Super Hot. And that's what we did. I thought that Leanne wanted a game called Red Matter, which is a game that's set, I think it's on Mars. Certainly like a space sci-fi game. But it's supposed to be like you solve puzzles to progress the story. Don't know if that might be a thing we come back to. In the end, she opted to not get it just yet. So, Robo Recall, talked about that. Star Wars Vader Immortal Episode 1. Like I say, played the lightsaber training thing, played some of the story. One thing I will say is, it is only £8 and it is fully Star Wars branded. I'm pretty sure it's James Earl Jones doing the voice of Vader. If it's not, it's a really good impression. It's super good. It's really well done, really well made. The movement and stuff you have to do, just being able to hold a lightsaber and do lightsaber fighting. There's a bit at the back end where there's like a big battle, which is loads of fun. Small issue, it's really short. If I'm honest, I was told that it was a couple of hours. It definitely isn't a couple of hours. I think it took me 45 minutes to finish. Now, I spoke to Luke and I was like, man, you got to get Star Wars. He was like, no way, it's episodic. I'll just wait until the full thing's out and then get the whole thing. If I'm honest, I wouldn't have waited. I wanted to play it. I wanted to play it fully through. I will definitely play it again. So the fact that it was £8 and fully Star Wars licensed was fine. It's canon. Anybody that knows what that means knows what that means. If you don't know what that means, it's like it's part of the main story while still being an offshoot. It relates to stuff from episode 1, 2 and 3 sort of thing. The clue's in the name, let's put it that way. Lot of fun, really well done. The graphics are really good. The way it's put together, there's like a bit where like people, when they walk up to you to talk to you, they're like right in your face. You're like, whoa, dude, take a step back. It's amazing and scary all at the same time. Loads of fun. Would definitely recommend it, but like I say, do be aware it is episodic and it's super short. So that's my review of that. Not everything in the world of VR is rosy, however. Luke recommended Super Hot. Principle of Super Hot is that the enemies seem to be made of glass. So if you hit them, they smash, and that is fine. The other gimmick for this game is time moves when you move. Time only moves when you move. So if you move to the left, time moves. If you move to the right, if you move your hands, time moves. Unfortunately, all of the people in the game are trying to kill you with a variety of different weapons. Some of them are trying to punch you, some of them are trying to stab you, some of them are trying to hit you with bottles, some of them are trying to shoot you with guns, pistols, shotguns, machine guns. All of this sounds great. I couldn't get through the training for this game, and there was no way to skip it. So I was like, well, this isn't good. Spoke to Luke, I'm like, really not getting on with that game, mate. Can't get through the training. He's like, where are you up to? It's like, it's this bit, there's these two guys either side. There's a guy further away that's shooting at me. He's like, duck behind the counter in front of you to avoid the guy shooting you, hit the other two, and then hit the guy shooting. I'm like, ah, okay, cool. Went back, played it, did it, complete the training. Sweet. After multiple attempts, managed to get through the first level. Cool. Got to the second level. I cannot, for the life of me, get through the second level. I just can't do it. I physically cannot get through it. And believe me, I have tried probably in the region of about 100 times. What I said to Luke is, a game like that requires a much better checkpoint system. Much better. Basically, it'll go, kill these 3 guys. It's quite obvious how you do it. You know, you've got an object, throw it at that guy, take his gun, shoot the other 2. Cool, you've done it, sweet. Okay, there's a guy in front of you, he's got a shotgun, but you can pick up a shotgun. So you shoot him, his shotgun flies in the air, you grab it, you shoot the guy that's coming around the corner, he's got a pistol, then you shoot the 2 guys that are down the hall, and then you move on. The next bit is, I don't know, I can't remember, but basically you keep doing these little sections. There's these 3 guys, kill them. There's these 4 guys, kill them. There's these guys, kill them. Get this guy's gun, shoot the other guy. Make sure that you move time when you want to move time, but make sure you freeze time when you want to freeze time. Bullets don't seem to travel the way you'd expect them to. You know, you fire the gun, then you make time move by moving, and then next thing, the guy that you've shot at is 2 feet away, and it's like, okay, so I should shoot in front of him. So you do that, and it still misses. That sort of stuff makes it a bit annoying. I cannot do that level. Honestly, a checkpoint system that is better than the one it's got is required for that game. Luke's like, no, it's a game that it's designed that you play each level multiple times to work out how it's done. It's like, no, that should not be a thing. So super hot is not super fun. You've got to remember, people, I play every game I play on easy. Games that are difficult are not for me. Games that are difficult might be for you. So, unfortunately, there's no demo for Super Hot. So, you can't try before you buy. If I'd have tried it before I bought it, I wouldn't have bought it. Take from that what you will, but that's my opinion of that game. So, like I say, because of the way that it's laid out, games are cheaper generally. So an expensive VR game is like 23 quid is expensive. So like Robo Recall, Super Hot, they're expensive. Then you drop down a level, you're paying £18. That Red Matter game, that's listed as £18. Then you drop down into your 8-9 quid sort of area. But there's a lot of demos. So I played the Beat Saber demo. Now I've played the Beat Saber game at Ed's. Lots of fun. Played the Beat Saber demo. You get 1 track and you get to play it. You play it as much as you want. Played it with Leanne. We ended up starting a bit of a sort of high score war. I had a high score. She beat it. Then I beat hers. Then she beat mine. Then I beat hers, and then I beat mine, and was saying, you're never going to beat me, I've set this huge high score sort of thing. Makes it a bit more fun, to the point where I was like, the only way we're going to settle this is to get the game, and then we can have a proper sort of go at it. And she was like, yeah, okay, cool, let's get the game. So, played the Beat Saber demo, lots of fun, it was free, and made us get the game. The cool thing about the game is you can set up like little friend tournament things, which I did. So we're just sort of having this big tournament, this ongoing tournament. We had Harriet, Mike and Sky around yesterday, and we got them playing it as well. So, you know, it's like this big tournament. It's cool. I don't really know what more I can say about Beat Saber as a game. I've basically told you everything. You have a lightsaber in each hand, and you have to hit corresponding coloured blocks to make music. That is literally it. But it's fun. A couple of other demos. I played the Creed, like the Creed demo. It's got a bigger name than that, but basically it's a boxing game. No surprises that a VR has a boxing game. I think there's other boxing things you can do. If I'm honest, a couple of the mechanics in the Creed demo I didn't like. When playing VR, I don't seem to suffer with the motion sickness. I know a lot of other people do. But there was a couple of features in that game that I didn't like. It's sort of like you get hit and it like shoots you out of the body, and then you have to sort of run to get back into the body, and then it shoots you back into the body. I don't like those fast movements. I know you can change controls for like different types of sensitivity. If I ever ended up playing that game, that's what I would look into doing. Excuse me. But if I'm honest, it's a boxing game. I find things like that, like Wii boxing, those sorts of things, you'd never really know what you're doing. You're just swinging and hoping you win. You know, I was like hitting the guy in the body to try and bring his guard down so I could hit him in the face. It didn't really seem to work. It was nicely put together. You've got these big, like, your hands are just these big boxing gloves, and you've got to defend in certain ways, and there's different aspects. Like if you get hit too many times, you've got to like move your hands in certain directions to sort of come back round, and then, like I say, there's points where you get like hit out of your body. I think it's another one that's like 23 quid. If I'm honest, probably aren't going to be paying that anytime soon. I played some poker last night. Won like a big stack of money. Not real money, but I did have a big win. I played a demo last night called Journey of the Gods. Oh, I can look on the app. I've got the app on my phone. Was it Journey of the Gods? These are the things that I should do before. Oh, there we go. The Creed game is called Creed Rise to Glory. I played a game. No. Wow, that one's expensive. There's a game there that's 30 quid. Oh, come on. Don't be this guy. No. What did I thought it was called? Yeah, Journey of the Gods. Unfortunately, it's another one that's in the £23 price bracket. It's billed as Zelda in VR. Zelda is not a game for me. I do not do the Zelda. However, I can say that I did play the demo last night and thoroughly enjoyable. One of those that you have to do, like, if anybody ever plays like first person shooters, and you know when you have to do strafe and look, you have to do that in VR, which initially I was like, whoa, this is weird, but then quite quickly got used to it, and it was really cool. Like, that movement style was another one that I'm like, this is really suited to VR. One of the nice things about that is you are essentially a god, and at various points in time you get god power. At one point it made me big, because there seems to be a size thing. You can become bigger and smaller, and you can make things bigger and smaller. You make trees big, make them small. Not sure the point of making them small, but anyway. So there was this bit where it was like, right, you're big, and there's these bad guys. So reach up and grab hold of lightning and use the lightning to get rid of the bad guys. And I'm like, what? So I reached up above me, and there was like a cloud with all this lightning in, and you just pull lightning bolts out like Zeus and throw them at bad guys. I was like, that's loads of fun. Definitely one that I have recommended to Leanne, and it's got her name written all over it, but certainly one that I would definitely want to have a play on. Like I say, it's in the quote-unquote expensive category. If you think about it though, I'm pretty sure that Game wanted like £54 for Borderlands 3. £54. Does anybody remember when games were 40 quid, and if you went to a supermarket you could get it for 35? £54. So when I say a VR game is expensive at 23 quid, sometimes I feel like I should slap myself. That demo was cool. I've got other bits. Another one that I wasn't overly keen on. I got this Mission ISS, which is the International Space Station game. It's been nominated for an Emmy, I think. Again, another one where right at the start you do like a training thing. Moving around in zero gravity is proper. A, hard, and B, it's real swimmy. I know that anybody that says that they suffer with the motion sickness when playing VR, stay well clear of that game. I felt like I was going to fall over playing that. Then it's like, here, do the missions. Okay, I'll do the missions. First mission is you've got to go and control this arm that's on the outside of the space station to grab hold of, I think it was like a satellite. Another one where I must have tried it 100 times. Could not do it. And that was the end of that. I never got any further because I couldn't do that mission. And there wasn't like there was an option to skip that mission. So that was the end of that. I was like, cool. A couple of other things I've checked out in VR. There's a Netflix app. There's an Amazon Prime app. I think there's like Sky's on there and stuff. Anytime you're watching something like a TV program or a film or anything on like Netflix, Amazon, YouTube, stuff like that, it makes it look as if you sat in the cinema, which is a cool little feature. There is YouTube on there, and then there's like these 360 videos and stuff. I did a 360 video of Niagara Falls. That was super cool. Something I just thought of, like some of the features of the Rift are the headphone, like the sound is built into the side panels, so there's no earphones. You can plug earphones into it if you want, but the sound is built in, which is a cool thing. So when I was looking at Niagara, it was like the sound of the water rushing was all around. It is hands down a cool piece of kit. There are two issues. One, the number of games are limited. I've seen a game that is supposed to be coming to the Rift. The Quest, sorry. But there's no mention of when. It's a game called Arizona Sunshine, which is a zombie survival game. You shoot zombies, but you also have to scavenge for like ammo and stuff like that. Apparently it's one of the first sort of VR games that's got a full-blown campaign. Game's supposed to be like 5 or 6 hours long. It's been out for a few years, like 2 or 3 years, but anything that's been out in VR needs to be ported to the Quest because it's lower quality. Was supposed to be out last month, I believe, and then I saw something that said it was coming out this month, but no official release date. Definitely will be looking at getting that. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. They've certainly done what they set out to do with the Quest, which is make VR more affordable and more accessible for everyone. So I fully support that. Haven't turned the PlayStation or the Xbox on recently. I played the Ghost Recon Breakpoint demo. Not demo, I keep saying that. I played the beta last weekend. I'm pretty sure I talked about that last week because I played it last weekend. So I will have talked about the massive number of issues I had with that. I'm playing Astral Chain on the Switch. I have a feeling I will have probably talked about that as well. I've played quite a bit more. There's been points in time where I've been kind of stuck downstairs and been in a position where it's like, I'll play this. There's been other points in time where I'm like, I want to play that. The VR is taking up a lot of time, but I am playing other stuff. So Astral Chain is a very interesting game. It's got a super cool fighting mechanic to it, which I really like. I like the what the hell are they called? the things that you get that are attached to the chains that I can't think of the name of. Because you get different ones as you go along. So I've got 3 now. I've got one that's like a sword guy. I've got one that shoots a bow and arrow, and I've got one that's just like a big guy that uses his fists. It's super fun. I never realised that there was going to be like this, like a detective aspect to it. You collect clues to put together these cases, to solve the cases, and then you go and do like big fights. And I had this massive boss battle over the weekend. It was last Friday. This huge boss battle. It was a lot of fun. It's a great game. It really is. But yeah, it's a real mix of stuff. Like you've got this detective side of things. You're picking up clues, making sure you've got all the bits of the clues, and then you try and solve the case sort of thing. And then yeah, this interesting fighting mechanic. Lot of fun. Would definitely recommend that game. Anybody that's got a Switch, I would fully recommend Astral Chain. So yeah, that's that. I think, like I say, I think I did a bit about Astral Chain last time. So coming to the end, you know what comes at the end of the podcast? It is gym talk. I'm still going to the gym. Last week got a bit busy with podcasting and other bits and pieces, but I still made time to go to the gym. Struggled last week with running. Got to a point where I was like, oh, I'll just do a little bit less this evening. I'll just do a little bit less. I'll just do a little bit less. Got to the point where I was like, I'll just run 1k, but I'll try and run it fast. I think that was the point where I was like, hang on a minute. We've been here before and it's never gone well. The whole idea was to really do the running. Just so happened that the same day I'd upped quite a lot of my weights as well, and I could see the way things were going. I was like, no, that's not the answer. However, yesterday, went to the gym, did big weights, but just a little bit of big weights, and then did a big run. I had my cheat meal. I needed to pay for my cheat meal by doing a big run, which I did. Got this system which I feel is working quite well. If you do a run and then you save it on the treadmill, then it remembers it. Then you can use it the next time, which I do. What happens at the end of a saved run is you get a 5-minute cooldown. So what I've been doing is, I've been doing like 1, 2 and a bit K, then save the run, then the next day do the run 1, 2k or whatever, 2.5, I think it was to start with. Then when it hits the 5-minute cooldown, for a minute of that, have a bit of a, you know, not a rest as such, but drop the speed down, because that's what the cooldown does anyway. And then, for the next 4 minutes, knock the speed back up to running speed, run for 4 minutes, and then at the end, save it, so that when you go to that program the next day, your run is 5 minutes longer, your distance is X amount further, and then you get the 5-minute cooldown again. So that's a way that I've been increasing the amount of running I've been doing. So far it's been working. Like I say, last week I think we've been tired and having like a couple of issues last week. It was just a chore, and that never helps, because it's easy to say I'm not going to do it or I'm going to do less. But like I say, last night blasted through a big run and felt good about it. I felt real good. Came away from that like, yeah, that's how it should be. As it is the way it is, it's Monday. Get this bad boy finished up, and then it'll be a case of have something to eat, probably play a little bit of VR, and then back to the gym. Get that run under the belt. Hopefully shed a few more pounds over the next week. I've got double podcast to do tomorrow. but then it'll just be coding for the rest of the week and getting those uploaded and sent out before the weekend. And then, yeah, fingers crossed for a nice weekend, and I will speak to you guys this time next week. So there we go. That's the podcast for this week. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sticking with me if you did. Enjoy looking into VR if that's your thing. And I'll say bye.
So there you go. What do you think to that? Another one done. Another one in the bag. YouTube watchers, make sure you're YouTube subscribers. Click for notifications, likes, shares, comments, things like that. Everybody jump after to the Cookiecast.com. Send us some social media love. Drop us an email. Things like that. So there we go. Until next week, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then. Bye.